Today we're going to be talking about factoring quadratic trinomial expressions. We've previously discussed quadratic functions, and we needed to know the standard form of a quadratic function in order to be able to do anything with it. Listed behind this box here is a reminder for you of the standard form of a quadratic function, and that is f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So if we have two separate sets of parentheses, we want everything in the first parentheses to meet everyone in the second. So that means we want this x to be multiplied times x minus 8, and this 3 to be multiplied times x minus 8 as well. So our next step is to actually multiply them together, and we're left with x squared minus 8x plus 3x minus 24. We know that that can't be our final step because we have like terms in there that haven't been combined yet. So once we combine those two linear terms, we're left with x squared minus 5x minus 24 as our standard form of a quadratic function. Take a look at the following examples and distribute to determine the standard form. Pause this video, and then once you have completed your answer, restart it to see if you were correct. So for x plus 4 times the quantity of x plus 5, you should have had x squared plus 9x plus 20. And for 2x minus 1 and x minus 3, you should have had 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. Alright, so with distributing, we rewrite the expression from factored form into standard form. Those are the examples of what we just did. So we want to know what factoring actually is. So when we factor, we are rewriting an expression as a product of its factors. In other words, we're undistributing. So we're doing the opposite of what we were just practicing. So this example is the one that you previously completed. And now we have the relationships that we need to find to determine how to undistribute. So we want to know the relationship between 3, negative 8, and negative 24. If you're stuck, take a moment. Alright, so if you were stuck, we've erased a little hint for you below here. So 3 times negative 8 gives you negative 24. And then this relationship over here with 3, negative 8, and negative 5, 3 plus negative 8 is going to give you negative 5. So here's an example of how we can distribute in reverse, or undistribute, which is what we're doing when we factor. We start with the standard form, so we get x squared minus 5x minus 24. Then we want to find two numbers with the product of negative 24 and sum of negative 5. Those two numbers are here, x squared minus 8x plus 3x minus 24. Then we want to factor the first two terms, so the x squared and the 8x, and factor the second two terms, the 3x and the negative 24, and we end up with x times x minus 8 plus 3 times x minus 8. So we factored out what they had in common, and then if we write the two factors up here, we're left with x plus 3 and x minus 8. Following are some steps to factor quadratic expressions. This is basically just what we did in a list form. We write expression in the standard form, find two numbers with a product of AC and sum of B, rewrite the linear term using the two numbers, and factor or undistribute the first two terms and the second two terms. Finally, we can write the two factors. If this is confusing to you, you can refer back to the slide before this when we did a couple of examples.
Where's the actual button you upload?
Here is another example for you, worked out, labeled so that you can see what direction.
But it's not as simple as that. There's a thing in this concept.
3x squared minus 9 plus 6x. First, they've rearranged it in standard form, and then we can follow the steps to arrive here at the bottom with 3x minus 3 and x plus 3.
538 people represented by that.
Here is yet another example for you to take a look at. Feel free to pause the video and work them out on your own to make sure that you're coming up with the same answers. Alright, so now I've done all this and I want to check my answer because there's not anything worked out for me to tell me whether I'm correct or not. So in order to check our answer, we can distribute or combine like terms at any step to get back to the previous step. Just like factoring is undistributing, you can distribute your answer to get the expression in standard form. It's your turn again. Take a look at these two examples, pause the video and work them out, and then restart the video when you have an answer to see if yours matches what's on the screen. So for x squared plus 9x plus 20, you should have x plus 4 and x plus 5. And for 2x squared minus 7x plus 3, we should have 2x minus 1, x minus 3 as our two factors. Okay. Stay tuned because in the next lesson we will practice factoring with some special cases, including when there are perfect square trinomials and difference of squares.